And now, the time fight fans all across the globe have been waiting for is the main card with your man, the voice. In the opposite corner, my mano y mano, my verbal sparring partner, Philly's finest, Will just run.
You ain't got to try not to gas me up, boys, because I know, like, I'm him when I walk in the door. Like my man Carmelo Hayes says, I'm him. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay, because I'm excited to be back. You know what I'm saying? We got an amazing show for y'all. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, my number one hater. He got a hat on today, so he ain't got no halo over his head.
I always wear a hat, so you can't talk. That's the main reason I put a hat on.
I don't believe it, boys. You know what I'm saying? I got my Philly joint on. You know, shout out to the great Bray Wyatt, aka the Fiend. I'm ready to get into it, man. We got a lot to get into. Let's go.
Yeah, all right. Well, speaking of Bray Wyatt and the Fiend and the Demon and all that. See, look at us, Jesus people, talking about all this tomfoolery. This is why I ain't want wrestling on the show. But y'all like it.
You watch UFC, which is the epitome of I'm not even gonna go there. You got it.
Gonna say it's they kissing cousins. The thing that that keeps me there is the real life drama, not the scripted portion. That's it for me. But yeah, you're right. Either way it goes, we're talking about wrestling primarily because you all love it and I love you all, so I want to give you what you want. And what Saudi wants, especially when it comes to entertainment as of late, is what they get. They are doing everything that they can to be the Vegas of EMEA. If you don't know what EMEA is, that is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. That's what they're trying to be. So the greatest Royal Rumble took place in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia back in 2018.
That was a horrible name for that. There was nothing great about it.
Well, I'm just telling you what happened. So
I will give them credit though. I don't know if you've seen it, they built that new stadium for the Royal Rumble in less than 30 days.
Yeah.
And we can't get them to finish the eyesore and I-4 in 15 years. So
there's a great reason behind all of that. And for to stay, or I should say, in order to keep this show in a good place as far as what we can list it as and what non-controversial topics we can talk about. I'm not gonna. Yeah, we'll leave that be. Yes, a wonderful thing was built in 20 days, and when you have the power to have people do that, you can make that happen. I'll leave it there. Yeah, you read between the lines as far as that's concerned. Yeah,
it's all good. Because we gonna backpedal ourselves into something we can't get out of. Let's go ahead and get into it, man.
So, like I said, that was back in 2018, but never before have the stakes been higher for a battle royal match in the game ever in the Mecca Maker, which is Saudi Arabia. On the men's side, you have returning victors like Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Rey Mysterio Jr., 619 stand up, and Jey Uso, along with upstarts like Jacob Fatu, who salute to him for not dying on Raw this week, almost missing everybody jumping out the turnbuckle. It was beautifully, or I should say, it looked beautiful. And I'm glad he landed on somebody and not something, because that would have been really sad. Anyway, Obafemi, Jake Paul, Austin Theory, they've all been they've all been listed as participants. They all threw their hat in the ring, and there are more to be announced. My question to you: is who among those who are listed currently is favorite and why?
Oh, easily. On the men's side, Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker.
Okay. There can only be one.
Right. There can only be one winner, of course. And there's going to be a number of entrants. There's going to be surprises, of course. There's probably going to be some NXT players in there also. But the top names to me are Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker.
Which one is the top name?
No, they both are equal. If you look at the odds right now, they both are equally the top names, Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker. Because of where the current storylines are with Roman Reigns returning, you want somebody huge for WrestleMania. So why not Roman Reigns? But if you're going younger, especially right now with CM Punk currently as champion, Braun Breaker versus CM Punk again at WrestleMania, where Braun Breaker doesn't miss this time, would be the ultimate coup. But I'm going to tell you who my dark horse favorite is and who I actually hope wins, depending on how the Royal Rumble match goes. Sami Zayn would be the perfect person to win. But this entails of this. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre is also going to be that same night for the World Heavyweight title. Let's say Sami again loses. Let's say Sami again loses because the storyline has been Sami has never beaten Drew McIntyre, but Sami has been on a mission to win. Sami goes on to win the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia in front of his home people.
Okay.
It's the perfect story. And Sami Zayn is long overdue.
So he is participating in the Rumble and he has a singles match?
Right. So what happens is that the championship match is going to take place first. The Royal Rumble match is going to be closing out. So let's say Sami Zayn ends up losing that championship match. I can easily see Sami Zayn coming in, maybe slightly injured, being the hero that he is, it being long overdue, and him winning that Royal Rumble match.
All right. That makes sense. Okay. I like the mention of, even though I was trying to get you to stick to one, I like the mention of Roman and Braun together because of the, I stole your shoes thing that happened not too long ago. I would like to see that because that seemed like it had legs to me. I don't know why it just stopped all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm sure that I think you're talking about Big Bronson Reed, who is known as the Tribal Thief, is the one who actually stole Roman's shoes
and had the T-shirt. It's too many Browns. Never mind. I'm sorry. It's too many Browns.
Bronson Reed is also in the Vision. So if you saw Monday night, Adam Pearce, in a way to agitate Paul Heyman, actually allowed all the members of the Vision to be placed in that Royal Rumble match in hopes that they turn on one another. But Braun Breaker right now is probably going to be one of the favorites, mainly because of where he is in the storyline and his anger, because on the January 5th episode of Netflix, he missed his shot. CM Punk won.
Okay. So let's do it all over again, brother, for the women this time.
Okay.
Again, you have vets like Charlotte Flair, who's won it all. Asuka also won it all. Bayley also won it all. But then you got people like Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, who I can't believe, as dominant a force as she is, that she's not won it all. But she's not the only dominant force in there this time. You also have Lash Legend, who seems poised for a showcase in this event, especially seeing what she did when she was first called up to the big time. It looked like a Royal Rumble with how she was tossing everybody left and right. Again, who is the favorite of the women listed currently and why?
With the way things are playing out, I think it's Liv Morgan. The reason I think it's Liv Morgan, because I think what's going to happen is that Stephanie Vaquer is going to end up dropping the title to Raquel Rodriguez. With the tension already going on between the Judgment Day, I think it builds up even more tension between Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and we end up having that match at WrestleMania. in many ways, to a certain extent, you can kind of see how it's kind of playing out if you're familiar with Shawn Michaels and Diesel back in the early 90s. Right now, that's kind of what it is to a lesser extent. You know, Raquel Rodriguez is the bodyguard. She's the bruiser. And of course, you know, Liv Morgan is the star of the Judgment Day. But eventually Raquel Rodriguez is going to take her spot. And then taking her spot, that's actually the major possibility. I mean, you have a lot of different dark horses because there's also SmackDown and Raw. So, you know, you have Jordan Grace. My dark horse that I would love to see win the Royal Rumble, Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea Green as a Royal Rumble winner going into WrestleMania would be amazing if WWE will pull the trigger. Unfortunately, I've also seen things on the TV show WWE Unreal where it almost feels like they kind of play Chelsea Green like she's an afterthought when really Chelsea is a star. Like, yes, she does everything the company asks her to do, but I think it will be long overdue. And to see her play the Chelsea Green character up through WrestleMania as a Royal Rumble winner going into WrestleMania weekend, I think will be amazing and will be a great way for WWE to go against the grain of what they normally would do of an EO Sky, of a Rhea Ripley, of those type of people.
Okay. So you shared with us who you would like to see win and why, as well as who you believe will win and why for both the males and the females. I've got one last question for you on both ends.
Okay.
Who needs it most on the male end and who needs it most on the female end?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the two that I named are the ones who need it the most. But I'm gonna give you a dark horse of somebody that you probably like that I think would be perfect to come back and play the ruler of all. LA Knight. I think LA Knight is the one who needs it the most. The reason why I say that is because the way LA Knight has been portrayed over the last year and a half, 2 years, it seems like every time he's right there at the pinnacle, something falls through. And it's like he's right there at the main event scene, but instead of him being someone who's considered a top tier level star and future champion, he's always portrayed as a guy of maybe next time. So while I do believe that Sammy deserves it, if there's anyone who I think really needs it, I think it will be an LA Knight. On the women's side, you can honestly think a number of people. There's something about Roxanne Perez that's so special, especially considering the fact of how she performed in NXT, and I would love to see her break that ceiling and eventually break away from the Judgment Day. I would love to see a return for Alexa Bliss, maybe coming back out and gaining that star power, or even, we're not going to get it, I'm sure, Bianca Belair. Who's to say Bianca Belair doesn't come in, surprises, wins the Royal Rumble, and then goes on to WrestleMania, and she chooses Jade Cargill in the match that everyone wants to see, which would be box office. If Bianca Belair faced off against Jade Cargill in the WrestleMania match, that match has to close out one night. Bianca Belair has that star power, and Jade Cargill, whatever you feel about her wrestling as she continues to grow, that is a main event match that would have to happen. But of course, also, like I said, another one of my dark horses. And the thing about it is, I know we need to wrap it up, and the thing about it is, WWE has so many opportunities to continue to break away from the norm of what we've seen. You've got people like Obafemi. You got people like Last Legend. You got a Carmelo Hayes who's doing amazing work with the U.S. title. We're seeing slowly that some things that WWE is doing is out of the box. You got a Finn Balor. I would love it to be a surprise of someone that we just did not expect, and someone that they're going to catapult to the top, who deserves to be in that card with the current mainstays as they begin to fade out. I mean, look at AJ Styles.
All right. Well, what you just said is that Chris Jericho will make his return, win it all, and go to the top. With that being said, let's I
do not want to see Chris Jericho and nobody's main event. Let him come back and help out.
Understandable, but with what you said, with it, right back in there with the retiring legends. Yeah, you just did it. So we'll clip this when it happens and make another short out of it. But keeping things short and sweet, we have a wonderful, wonderful main card for you with the surging UFC 325 card, as well as Ring 6 at the Mecca of it all, Madison Square Garden. Who's taking on who? You have to tune in and see, but of course, about Teo and Shakur, so we're going to talk about that and everything else on the other side. It's the main card. Keep it locked.
All right, and welcome back to the main card. We got some great things to get into it. I'm excited to get into this first bout. Now, Voice. Under the lights in Sydney, it's a crowd that's been waiting 8 long years to see their guy back on home soil. We get a rematch that feels less like a sequel and more like unfinished business. When Alexander Volkanovski goes against Diego Lopez, part 2. And both men are walking into this one with something to prove, something to reclaim, and something to take. Now, for Diego Lopez, Voice, this isn't about revenge. It's about redemption. He's been brutally honest about what went wrong the first time. As he said, I put a lot of pressure on myself and I forgot to enjoy the moment, and that cost me the fight. Now, that's not excuse making. That's more self-awareness than anything. Now, he's talking like a man who's shed the weight of expectation, and he's picked up the confidence of what he believes is inevitability. Now, he's already apologized to Australia. This is the funniest thing. He's already promised a knockout, Voice. He's already declared that this is his life's work. He said, this is my plan. The knockout is coming. I'm sorry, Australia. That's not quiet confidence. That's a man walking in enemy territory with the energy of someone who believes the belt is already packaged in his luggage. But unfortunately, across from him stands Alexander the Great. He's fighting at home in his state in front of fans who've been starving to see him live. And he knows exactly what this fight means. For him, it's not legacy or rankings or even resume or pride. It's proof, presence, and everything that he's been waiting for. And when you hear Volk talk, he knows that Lopez is coming. He said he's coming fast, he's coming violent, and he welcomes it because he's approaching this fight with a different energy and not the chess playing tactician, but more like the bulldozer he says he always could have been. He said, you can bulldoze these guys. I'm going to go straight through this guy. And that's not strategic. It's not a promise. Now, the beauty of this matchup, Voice, is neither man is expecting the other to change. Lopez is still going to attack, and Volk is still going to meet him in the fire. And the fans in Sydney, they're getting a rematch that might burn hotter than the first one. So, Voice, with Lopez vowing to go in and finish the champ like a grilled cheese sandwich, what are we to expect from this great sequel?
Well, one, I'm glad you said grilled cheese and not grilled Vegemite, because the thought of that hot is just like disgusting. But anyway, I digress. What we can expect based on what transpired at UFC 314, which they missed the mark. That should have been in St. Louis. 314, stand up, but I digress. What we should expect to see is a continuation, at least I believe, of the end of the last fight, which those last 2 rounds, Diego Lopez really started picking up steam. Within the first 3 rounds or so, especially that first round, he got hurt, he got rocked, and Volk was able to get him to the ground, hurt him even more, took the round definitively. Second round could have went either way. Third round seemed like it was Volk's, but then after that, Lopez started picking up steam. The thing that was really interesting about the fight was the whole time, though not striking, because I think he just couldn't find his bead, Lopez was moving forward, which normally the person moving forward is the one who has the advantage, but he didn't. Volk was really, really good with his jabs, but something that Joe Rogan said that really stood out to me, especially towards the end of the fight, was like, Volk's stance is so wide, he should be using leg kicks. He should be using leg kicks, which he did in those last 2 rounds, and it was visibly impacting Volkanovski. If he starts off that way, it's going to be interesting, because though Volkanovski was keeping things mixed up with the wrestling, he really had a difficult time getting him down. It was more shooting to keep you off base, keep you off kilter, than really being effective. What stood out most to me, especially from the Lopez end and as the fight went on, is he is the heavier hitter. Though Volkanovski was hitting him a lot, and it kind of reminded me of a fight with Michael Bisping, where he was just popping, throwing the shots and popping. But when he was getting hit, it was like, ooh, the other person only threw twice, but my goodness, when they threw it was memorable. It was something that stuck with you. And that's what I saw with that fight. Volk kept jumping in and hitting him. And like I said, he hurt him the first round or so. But after that, he really wasn't hurting him with his shots. But every time Lopez threw, you knew about it. So it's going to be interesting, especially if he is able to move forward and find his rhythm early. It's going to be a bad night at home for Volkanovski. If he can, catch him good, because he was hitting him hard. Mm-hmm. He did hurt him. But he wasn't able to take him out. So I don't know. I mean, it's a toss-up. But if I were leaning either way, I'd be leaning the way of the challenger walking away as a champion.
No, I mean, it's interesting hearing Lopez be so confident about knocking him out at home. And I know everyone loves Alexander Volkanovski, but you also have to remember, in maybe his last 5 fights, 2 of those have actually come with him losing by knockout. I believe
Taporia knocked him out, and
Islam knocked him out.
Islam knocked him out. Yep.
So it's very possible for that. And when you consider that Lopez's record before losing to Alexander, he'd been on like maybe a 5-fight streak. He hadn't lost in about 2.5 years. So it's very possible. But of course, Alexander the Great always comes to play. So it's going to be interesting to see that. Make sure you all follow The Voice so that y'all can get that play-by-play, because not to bring it up, but when Alexander has lost, he's losing in earlier rounds. So if Diego can get out there and fix those mistakes, we could be looking at a new champion. But that's not the only bout that we have this weekend, Voice. Madison Square Garden is the home to another one. On the final night of January 2026, boxing is giving us a fight that feels not just like a title defense, but more like 2 kings clashing to determine who really belongs on that pillar. Now, with Teofimo Lopez, when he walks in holding that ring and WBO super lightweight title, he's carrying something heavier than hardware, Voice. I know a lot of people remember, we talked about it, the weight of expectations from years ago when sports crowned him as one of the 4 kings. It was Haney, Garcia, Tank, and Teo. Now, that quartet meant to echo the echoists of Leonard and Hagler and Duran and Hearns. But here's the thing about that, Voice. There was someone who was left out. Shakur Stephenson never bought into that coronation. Not then, not now. And in his mind, he wasn't left out. He was overlooked. And he's been keeping a lot of stock into what all of those are saying with those receipts. Speaking to ESPN, he said, I felt disrespected during that time. Even though I wasn't in the same weight class as them at the time, I felt then that I was better than all those guys, and I still feel that way. And this mission has history behind it, because these two, they've already danced once before behind closed doors, and we know how that goes down in the sparring session that both men remember. But of course, how they remember it differently. Shakur says it was 3 rounds with him taking over late. T.O. says the only reason we don't have the full footage is because Shakur told them to stop the recording. So 2 men, 1 ring, and 2 completely different stories about what happened inside of it. And now, years later, they're finally meeting, this time with the world watching. Real stakes, real belt and consequences. Both champions in 2019, both carved their own lanes, but they only now get to collide this time. So it isn't just a fight, it's almost like a clash of timelines, so to speak. So with that being said, as they walk into MSG, voice, with all that history, all that heat, and that pride on the line, who's really stepping into the ring, voice, to be the hunter and be the king of the crown?
I think they both are. So even though Teo is the one technically with the crown, he is fighting for relevancy. He's fighting to say, no, look, I really am him. You know, everything, all the bluster, all the stuff that's been said, I'm the one. People, and really he's fighting for his respect, because most of the pundits and the odds have it against Teo. You know, Teo's like, look, I know I'm Mexican, but I'm the more athletic one. I know I'm you know, I've been at this weight class, so I'm the one who should be settled in. I'm the champion. I'm the one who's known for knocking people out. Problem is that he's going against someone who's known for not getting hit. He's also going against someone who's known to be very, very disciplined when it comes to his game plan. See, Shakur doesn't care how he wins as long as he wins. He finds whatever the best method of victory is, and he follows it. And again, he doesn't care. Remember when he fought at home last in Newark, New Jersey, on ESPN, around the 9th card, people were leaving in droves. At home, you're home. They're walking out on you. Why? Because it was boring. Absolutely boring. But did he care? No, I don't care what it looks like as long as I walk out with my hand raised. And I can tell you this, he has been studying Teofimo. I was watching something where both he and Teo sat down with Showbiz, and he knew just what was going to happen, when it was going to happen in the fight, because of how much he studied Teo and his ways. But Teofimo, he has a knock on him that he fights to the level of his opponent. Well, you don't get much bigger than this. And he wants to show, no, look, I can win. I am going to win. The Teofimo that you all really love to see is the one that's going to show up. We also have to remember, though Newark, New Jersey is where Shakur is from, Teo has fought often right there at Madison Square Garden. He made it his business to fight after the Heisman every year for a number of years there at Madison Square Garden. So there's a lot on the line here for both of these men. Can Shakur continue with his defensive prowess and his skillfulness, staying away from those shots and making Teo look silly? The thing that's most concerning to me as a fight fan regarding this is that they're both counterpunchers. Somebody's got to make the fight. And really, it's on Teo to make the fight, because Shakur has shown I can throw a couple shots and win a fight. I've done it before. I have won with throwing the least amount of shots ever before before that fight with Devin Haney, and then the Skull Canelo fight soon after that. But yeah, he's shown, look, I don't have to do a lot to win. All I need to do is make you look silly, make sure that when I throw, it's scoring. We'll see what happens when they step into the square circle, but I'm concerned that it could be a lackluster fight because of that, because if neither of them makes the fight, it's going to be a long night.
I mean, Teo has shown he got a little knockout power. You know, after that loss to George Kambosos, he who was it? Pedro Campa? Didn't he knock out Pedro Campa?
I don't know if that was right after that fight or not, but he has knockout power for sure. Has that been the case as he's moved up in weight? Not so much, but does he have pop? Yeah, he does. But you got to land the punches, and that's the issue, is that Shakur doesn't really get hit.
Okay, so yeah, it was Pedro Campa. He took that almost like a year off. He faced Campa in the Resort World Las Vegas, where he won the WBO International Light Welterweight title. Knocked out Campa in the 10th round. That was after, of course, George Kambosos. Now, he's fought in New York City since. His one win in Madison Square Garden is actually against Sandor Martin, where he retained that WBO title. But like you said,
he also beat Josh Taylor at Madison Square Garden too.
Okay. Was that the Hulu? Or was that at MSG?
I don't think it was in the. It may not have been in the. And I understand what you're saying. It may not have been in the big room, but it was. It was still there. Yeah.
Well, they both coming in got a lot to prove, because, like you said, at times both of them, you know, while they have had winning records, they have been considered boring boxers because it's not a lot of power and excitement shown. It's almost more like, all right, let me go ahead and go in here and do this sparring session and then come out. So that'll be exciting to see. Make sure you all tune in with Voice also on that one, as he'll be giving us his play-by-play, and then we'll be seeing what's going to be coming up next. So we'll also talk about that on the main card next. Now, while there are a number of major fights out there, these were the biggest two bouts that we wanted to share, but we also like to give you the final fights. While that's the meat and potatoes, these are your sides. You can't go without the mac and cheese or the yam. So, Voice, tell us what we're looking for in our final fights.
Man, in final fights, we could do a whole nother show on all the fights that are taking place. We know that Shakur is fighting Teo on Saturday. That the ring title and the WBO title on the line for that. But there are so many other title fights that are taking place this weekend. You got Bakram Murtazayev. Man, I messed that one up. Murtazayev. I don't know why I'm tripping. Anyway, he's taking on Josh Kelly, who we just spoke about, fighting Teo at the theater at Madison Square Garden. This fight will take place at 154 pounds. That again is getting ready to take place. I said Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly is not who Teo fought. It was a different Kelly. But this Josh Kelly has only lost to Avanesian. He got knocked out when he fought him. But that's the only person that he's lost to. So we'll see. And it's in the UK. We'll see whether or not Bakram can keep the party going and retain his IBF title. Speaking of 154 pounds, you have a unification bout that is taking place on the 31st as well. You'll be able to see that after the Ring 6 card because they are waiting. It's a it's a Canelo versus Kovalev kind of deal where they're waiting until the Teo and Shakur fight is done before they play it. But you have Xander Zayas in a homecoming bout. Like I said, it's a unification bout against the WBA's champ, Abbas Barao. On that Ring 6 card, you also have the champion at 160 pounds, WBC middleweight champ, Carlos Adames, putting his title on the line versus Ammo Williams. Shushu Carrington is defending his featherweight, which is 126-pound interim WBC belt. I normally don't talk about interim champions. However, the full champion is your boy, Scooter Fulton, who missed weight at 130 and had to fight at 135. Is he coming back down to 126 to defend? I think not. So though it is an interim belt, Shushu is really more like the full champion. He's putting his title on the line against Carlos Castro, also on that ring bout. But that's not the only fight on that bout. You have Keyshawn, the businessman Davis, who also lost his title on the scales, moving up to 140 pounds to take on Jermaine Ortiz in what could be the most challenging fight that he has ever had. That's not it when it comes to boxing, though. On Sunday night, Zuffa 2 is going to take place at the Meta Apex. Raul Valenzuela is headlining. You got Sergey Boychuk on that card. You got Alexander Vazdik on that card. The number 2 card is hidden when it comes to name value. The first card was a very good card. Put you in the mind of old school Friday night fights on ESPN, or maybe a Showbox card, not quite Boxing After Dark, but kind of put you in the feel of that. You got a lot of up and comers fighting one another, but these were very competitively matched fight cards, which it didn't make always for the best action, but again, they were very competitively matched, and it's going to be interesting to see what Zuffa does going forward. I know that they are trying their best to put fight cards out, and Paramount is very, very happy with not necessarily Zuffa boxing, but with Zuffa as a whole, because the UFC did twice as much business as they thought that they were going to do with UFC 324. It was well over 6 million people that were watching, and they were not expecting that. They were hoping for 3. So they're real happy if they can, as they start to build the boxing in, getting that going is going to do nothing but put them in the further good graces of Paramount. Now, again, that is on the fighting side. You got some other cards MMA wise on UFC 324, but again, the more notable fights are in the boxing ring this weekend. But you also have some notable matches taking place in the wrestling ring. What's going on that end?
It's a big weekend. Of course, you have Royal Rumble weekend. We covered the men's and women's Royal Rumble, but you also have 2 very huge matches with large implications. You have Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. That's going to be for the World Heavyweight title. And then, of course, you have a career match. Gunther is out here again, snatching careers from these legends as he's facing AJ Styles. And if AJ Styles loses, AJ Styles must retire. So that's also going to be taking place this weekend. So the card is full. It's going to be nonstop. You also need to make sure that you tune in early, as Royal Rumble is going to be in Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be taking place around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the pre-shows are going to be earlier that day. So make sure that you go ahead and check your local listings for that.
All right. Well, the 31st of January is a day all about combat sports. So it sounds like from noon to midnight, you're going to see a whole lot of shaking going on in a organized fashion.
Absolutely. And that's what we're here to bring to you. We are the main card. We love what we do, man. Every time you see these 2 faces on here, it's Smoke O'Clock. Thank you all for tuning in with us every week, engaging with us. If you get a chance, make sure you follow us on social media. Make sure that you also follow The Voice on X. This is the best place that you can get Voice's breakdown round by round of some of your favorite matches going on. And of course, make sure that you're following MCMV Sports. We are an amazing group of people, and we're doing our thing in all sports. So you get the best of the HBCUs. You get Not the Same Sports Show. You get the red and gold. Red and bold. I'm sorry, with Will Smith. Man, shout out to Will Smith, man, because the Chiefs are going through it right now. You also get me and Voice here, also on the full 94 outside of the main card, and you get Timeout with the Voice, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're on every podcast platform that you can think of. Make sure that you like us on YouTube. Make sure you like us on TikTok. Voice, take us out.
Until next time, fight the good fight.
What's going on, family? It's your man, Wildress.
And it's your man, the myth, the legend, the Voice.
And you just finished watching the main card on the MTMV network.
Yeah, for more great shows just like this, smash the subscribe button and keep fighting the good fight.